Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Get Your Team on a Quest for More Reservations. And that's being presented by Doug Kennedy of the Kennedy Training Network, based out of Miami, Florida. Thanks so much for joining us, Doug.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be with you today. Are we ready to get rocking here?
I think so. Fire when ready.
Let's do it. So our topic today is getting your team on a quest for more reservation sales. Welcome to all of you. I'm going to present today a program that originally I did for the Allied Lodging Professionals, the ALP conference in Baltimore. That's where I first connected with ResNexus, which as I know now is a major provider of tech for the space of smaller inns, B&Bs, and lodging, which I think is most of you today. But I'm sure we have some larger properties out there of all sizes. I truly hope to bring value to you. A little bit about our company. We're based down in the Miami and Fort Lauderdale area, about halfway between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, but we do training worldwide. And this is a picture of me presenting in Moscow, Russia. I went from there to Ukraine on that trip a few years back. My heart goes out to both of them. I've presented in 15 countries, 49 out of 50 states. If there's anyone on from Alaska, I would love to come and train you and close out all 50. Also Canada, Mexico, Caribbean, and other countries. Been doing this a very long time. It's actually my third, starting my fourth decade actually, which is amazing, of doing training. And one of the topics I've been presenting since day one in our training, we also do a lot of telephone mystery shopping along this, where we actually call hotels and measure their results. We do call scoring for people that have cloud-based recording in companies like Ring Central. So we're listening to a lot of calls and scoring a lot of calls and training a lot in topics. We do a lot in hospitality training for guest service excellence, but one of the core topics since day one in 1989 when I opened my doors was reservation sales training. So today we're going to talk about in our next 35-40 minutes how to get your team on a quest for more reservation sales. And now I've actually written probably 6 reservation sales training classes in my career. Years ago when I started out, my first training class, it was a very creative name. It was called Reservation Sales Training. But over the years, I continued to evolve it. I had cooking up new reservation sales. I had a program called Reservation Sales, and that used an acronym SAILS. But about 5-7 years ago, I decided it was time to have a whole new reinvention of our reservation sales training class. And I sat in my office on the weekend, and I started by getting people to send me audio recordings, like, for example, from Ring Central, of real calls from real callers. And I got to sit and listen and try to figure out what had changed on the other side of the phone line, because actually a lot had changed. And I found that today people have all the information. We're going to go into that a little bit more in a second, but I was searching and searching for a name for the program, and suddenly it occurred to me, Quest's the perfect name. Well, for a few reasons. First of all, excellence in anything is always about a quest to be the best. That's why I love using a picture of this road here with the arrow. Onward and upward. The day you feel you have arrived, you've made it at anything in life, you have reached the peak of your mountain and you will be starting the downhill ride. And believe me, the downhill ride goes a lot quicker than the journey up. Now, also in business, and I know this as a fellow entrepreneur, I know we have many owners here. There's a lot more private owners in the lodging space generally that's with us today based on the registrations that I saw. You know very well, business is all about a quest for currency. Okay, so we're going to start off by talking about money. All right. Now, I always want you to think about before you consider how being so dedicated to that phone call, turning that phone call into a booking and training your team to do so, and maybe even measuring the results through mystery shopping and all that. I want you to think about the value of that phone call. So the easiest way to do this is take your ADR, your average daily rate, times your average length of stay, also known as ALS. So ADR times ALS equals the potential revenue every time that phone rings. All right. So at the end of our time today, I want you to think about this for a minute. Take your actual numbers And year round, by the way, because I know you have high season rate and low season rate, weeknight rate, weekend rate, but on average, if you got one more average revenue opportunity call per day, what would happen if you did that for 365 days a year? All right. And so let's just look at an example here. Let's take an ADR of 150 and an ALS of 1.75 nights. Every time that phone rings, I want you and your team to imagine there's $262.50 on the other side of that telephone conversation. And if we did that every day for 365 days, it would be $95,000. Now, for some of you, it may be significantly more. If your ADR is less and your average length of stay, well, I imagine it's probably 1.7 nights for most of our properties here today. But let's say it was shorter. Yeah, it might be less per call, but the reality is I'm going to bet you have a lot more than one more call per day opportunity because you're getting calls all day long. Okay. Now, I don't know if you've ever noticed the what I call everything happens at once principle. And this is at lodging companies of all sizes. We have clients ranging from our smallest client ever has been the Inner Banks Inn in Edenton, North Carolina. Beautiful place, by the way. And I must say, the one that referred me to speak at the ALP conference. Hi, Susan. Hope you're with us today. But 21 rooms, okay? And I know whether you're at that size or whether you have and they have typically one innkeeper on at a time, or you're in a larger hotel, maybe you have 2 or 3 people on. There's something called the everything happens at once principle for hotels of all sizes. That means nothing happens and then everything happens. Let's say no one has checked in for an hour or two, and of course, no phone calls have happened, and you only have 3 more reservations. All of a sudden, all 3 of the reservations show up at once, and then the phone rings. And when it does, do you go, yes, another phone call, $262 waiting, how awesome? Or do we go, ah, if it wasn't for all these callers interrupting us, we could get a lot more work done here at the end. So make sure we realize phone calls are in our opportunities. And when that happens, just say, oh, sir, you've reached the front desk directly here at the end. You've reached us directly, whatever you want to say. You may not even have a front desk, right? You might be taking the calls. Maybe you greet them in a nice little desk or a small area. It's not a formal hotel front desk, or maybe you have a desk, but you've reached us here directly. We'd be happy to assist you, but I'm assisting another guest. Is it possible I can call you back, or do you mind holding? Most people today, if we just ask them to hold, they're going to put you on speaker. They're going to wait. They're going to be like, oh, sure, no worries. They're just glad somebody actually answered and somebody who is on site. Now, at the same time, if you let it go to voicemail, make sure your greeting says, hello, you've reached us here directly at the end. Please leave a message. We're assisting another guest, and we promise to call you back. And if it's during business hours, say, if whatever you think you can commit to that you can actually deliver. We promise to call you back within 1 hour or 2 hours, whatever you think is reasonable. And overnight, have a different overnight message. You can flip it if you're using cloud-based phone system like RingCentral or any other one, so that after hours, if you close at 8 o'clock, let's say, you can say, you've reached us after hours. If you're an in-house guest, press 1 for an emergency. Otherwise, please leave a message. We promise to call you back tomorrow after 8 a.m. or let us know a specific time. All right, now, what I want you to remember, train your team, is when that phone rings, we're excited, right? So remember, and I usually have fun doing this with the group, but since I can't hear you all today, I'm going to assume that in your office, wherever you're watching, I want you to say out loud, when you hear ring, ring, I want you to think cha-ching, okay? So let's try it again, everyone. If you're watching in a group, I want you, when I flash the picture, let's hear it. Ring, ring, cha-ching, okay? So phone calls are money. Now, we're on a quest for one more booking because one more booking is revenue that powers our company. The good news is they're on a quest too because they called us. That is the wonderful thing about inbound sales, okay? Some of you may have worked in jobs, or your people may have worked in jobs where they had to make sales calls to sell something. All right. And when I have people in my classes that have done that job, I remind them, and they usually agree, how much nicer when they call us. Okay. So they're on a quest for a place to stay. We're on a quest for one more booking. Now, let me pursue on here and talk about, why do people still call? Most of you already have the ability for a guest to make a booking online, okay? Or at least send us an online booking request if you don't have bookings in real time. But why is it that people choose to pick up the calls? Now, interestingly, one good thing about a terrible pandemic called COVID, people started realizing the value of human connection. Now, in the smaller properties, the B&Bs, the small inns, the small luxury, people call a lot more often. But also in luxury hotels, boutique hotels, non-traditional lodging, people call as well. So why do they still call when they don't have to anymore? Let me give you a couple of reasons. The first of the four primary reasons why people still call today, they're confused. They actually read the online guest reviews. Now, recently, up until recently, TripAdvisor was the go-to place for reviews. And I hope they still get a lot of reviews because I do own a little bit of TripAdvisor stock, not too much. Most of my money is invested in my own company, but TripAdvisor is the go-to place for reviews. Lately, though, it's Google reviews. And when people read reviews, I don't know if anyone on the call and on our meeting today reads reviews, but if you read the 5-star review and the 1-star review, you wonder, did they stay at the same place? Or did they eat at the same restaurant? Or did they buy the same physical thing? So people are confused by online guest reviews. And sometimes they're going to say, you know what, let me pick up the phone and give someone a call. Secondly, people are overwhelmed with choices. When she grabs her iPad here and starts searching online, now, if you have the repeat guest, that's great. But a lot of people, want to try a new place or go somewhere they've never been to before. So first starting place for most is going to be Google, okay? And then when they go to Google and put in uh, quaint inn or motel or hotel, okay? And they're going to put in, let's pick on Edenton, North Carolina, my dear friends at Inner Banks Inn. They're up's going to come the choices. And probably the first choice that's going to come up is Expedia, Booking.com, Airbnb, probably VRBO for vacation rentals. And then if your caller starts out on one of those websites, okay, and then they make their way to your website. Now, a lot of smaller properties have a lot of room types. So you might only have 10 rooms or you might have 30 rooms, but you might have a multitude of different accommodation types and people get overwhelmed by choice. Third reason why people call, value-driven deal seekers. Isn't that a nice way to put it? These are the folks who go online, they know the price, and they already decided they want to stay there, but they're going to call you up to try to get an extra discount. Now, some of them are nice. They'll sweet talk you. Oh, hi there, Kathy. Kathy is my sister's name. Oh, how are you? How's the weather? Listen, sweetie, we're really poor. We have no money. Can you please help us? Do you take AAA? Oh, yeah, sure. Do you take AARP? What about military? Okay, my husband's military. We're AAA and we have AARP. Okay, no, it doesn't work that way. And then they'd show up in the, I used to say Mercedes, but now it's like the top line Tesla, okay? On the other hand, sometimes people are mean about it. They'll say, look, if you don't sell it to me, 200 a night, I didn't want to buy it. I just wanted to sleep there. But regardless, they're going to book. Let's get them to book while we have them on the line. Just play along and let them know we do set our rates in advance. They're not negotiable. That is our lowest rate. Would you like me to check other dates? Maybe other dates, right? No, all right. Last one, multitaskers. These people just want to make a booking. These people press the phone number on their phone and it is click to call. They press the number, it dials, and they get you. And they say, hi, I want to book right now because I'm driving, I'm boarding the plane. I'm getting ready to go away with my best friend here because I'm leaving these two kids with dad or granny. and they just want to say, are you ready for my credit card? You ready for my credit card? Please, please, please take the credit card. Okay, yeah, get the name and the dates, quota rate, get the card. All right. So I don't want you to say, oh, hold up, sir, you can't book yet. I just went to this webcast with this guy, Doug Kennedy. He's an international expert, and I have to like ask you these questions and say a few things first. Okay. No, get the money. We're on a quest for one more booking. They're on a quest for a place to stay. And if they're ready to end that quest and give you the card, then the next question, what is your credit card number, please? All right. But more likely, it's probably a little more complicated than that for your average call. So I'm going to share with you 5 different ways that we can get on a quest for more bookings. Now, the first one is really more of an issue for leadership. Okay, actually, a lot of these are. You may be the owner, you might be the manager, you might have your entire team gathered around a computer watching us. Maybe your owner or your manager asked you to attend. But whoever's on today, I hope you take note of the first one, which is encourage website visitors to call. Yeah, we have a great online booking tool, but better yet, put a phone number on there. That's how you're going to make that human connection and make sure they pick you and not just a random link on a website. Secondly, make sure they pick you and book you directly so that you do not have to pay third-party commissions. Also, if you look at your worst guest reviews, I bet you most of them came from people who booked through third parties. All right. So, few things. Make it easy to find your phone number on the mobile version of your website as well as your desktop version. A lot of times when I look up phone numbers, it's very hard to find, especially on mobile. Also, use a phone carrier that tracks and records calls. I have mentioned to you Ring Central. There's several others. I can refer you to one that actually has a very low per minute cost, or you can get a recorded line number that tracks how many calls you get and records them from Google. And as we already said, update your after hours and stepped away briefly messages. And we already said this earlier, but you've reached us directly. We will call you back at a specific time. So that is number 1. We love phone calls, right? Yes. All right. Number 2, train your team to ask these questions. All right. So let me review. We're on a quest for one more booking. They're on a quest for a place to stay. The key is to ask questions. All right. Now, maybe you're already asking these. Maybe all you ask is, what are your dates? How many people? How many nights? How many beds? But some of you may have been through training, either with myself and our company, Kennedy Training Network, or with other companies. But I'm going to share with you the most updated version, all right, of these questions. So a lot of people might already be saying, hey, have you stayed with us before? Here at the end. But here's a better version. Have you stayed with us before, or did anything online catch your eye? And now you know either they've stayed there and they want the same room, okay, which is usually the case, or they haven't stayed there, but they visited your website and they really want to try out the Captain's Suite or the Pioneer's Cabin or the Honeymoon Suite. I don't know what clever names you have, but that special one, yeah, I'm looking at that one, right? So now we know. Secondly, it's good to ask what brings you to town, what brings you to Edenton, all right? But even better, is there anything special I can help you plan during your visit? Now, not only do you have a chance to sell a room, perhaps even upsell if you find out it's a special occasion, now you can help them set up something to make it really special. And if you're really smart, you can have partners in the area who will be very happy to give you 10, 20% commission. Okay. Uh, Hi, what brings you to town? Okay, so that's good. If you want to be great, say, well, may I ask, is there anything special I can help you plan while you're here? Actually, it's our anniversary. Okay, speaking of a married guy, oh, come to think of it, my 20th day of meeting my wife, not the wedding day, but the day of meeting my wife is coming up very soon. And if somebody prompts me, I'm going to be like, oh gosh, thank you. Yeah, actually, can you get some flowers? Thank you. Here's just bill it to my credit card, right? Or setting up a massage for my wife, or couples massage, perhaps, special dinner. Some of you have amenities and services that you have upcharges, but you can actually help them plan. That's what they're going to remember. Okay. Another one. Hi, I'm online looking at your rates, and I have a question about a room category. Do you know, once I stood in the lobby of a hotel and I actually heard a call taking place. I was waiting to meet with the manager, and I hear a very polite and kind front desk person saying, "Oh no, what page are you on? Okay, now hold on. What's it say online? Oh, yeah, yeah." And the person, I kind of peeked around the corner a little bit, and I realized the front desk person had jumped over to Expedia, and he proceeded to guide the guest on how to book on Expedia. He became tech support for Expedia, and there went 15% of the reservation. So find out, hey, may I ask what website you're on? Okay. Because if you're a smart operator, the rate is the same on Expedia as it is booking direct, right? Now, here's the thing. If you are an Expedia member, I do sometimes book on Expedia. Normally when I'm traveling internationally due to time zone differences, and I have Expedia points. And there's a little box pre-checked. Do you want to apply your Expedia points? So I'll look at a hotel website and it says $100, and I'll look at Expedia and it'll say 97, right? And if a smart reservation says, "Oh, what website are you on?" "Oh, I'm on Expedia." "Oh, are you logged in?" "Oh, yeah, that's the discount with your Expedia points. But if you like, I can put you into our system right now." Okay. Maybe you even empower them to give a $3 discount, or offer an upgrade, or offer some kind of amenity, right? Because we want them to book direct. Then they become our guest. All right. So what website are you on? Then for the guest, they have no third party to have to deal with. Oh boy, a lot of people learned the hard way during COVID when the third party had their money or their deposit. So if you explain, I can put you into our reservation system right now. Maybe this way you can cancel further out, or you won't have to pay in advance. Um, Hopefully you have rate parity. You can let them know the rate will be the same, as we've already discussed. And best of all, Mr. Kennedy, we can finish this for you right now. Okay. For me, a busy guy, right? Wow, that's an advantage. I don't have to go back online. I don't have to worry that the credit card's not working and I forgot. Every time I go to buy something online now, yeah, it pre-populates my credit card that I always use, but I have to put in the 3-digit code from the back, all right? Depending on which card I'm using, depending on which one I need to get points on that month, or I'm like, what's that number again? Or if you get a new card and you can't remember because, for your convenience, they keep on sending you a new one, even when you didn't ask for one, and you get hung up, and that quick booking takes 7 or 8 minutes. But no, let's finish it now. Now, this is another one I highly recommend. Once you've got out of them, what is your name? What are your dates? Arrival and departure day. Hey, have you stayed with us before? Anything online catch your eye? Aw. And can I help you plan anything special? What's bringing you to town? Oh, and now you say, hey, as I'm checking that price for you, any questions about our location or amenities? All right. You have now moved from a transactional, robotic, scripted robot to having some heart. And that is what I call being conversational and not transactional. Okay. Once you make that human connection, okay, now you have made a friend. They will ask for you at check-in. They may bring you something special. They may bring you a muffin from the bakery. They might bring you something from home. They might send you a thank you card. All right. But now you have a chance to sell the experience and not just rent a room. Okay. That's what you want to be. Remember to be in the guest experience business, not the room rental business. Okay. That's also how we can get by with charging a little bit more than the one down the street, across the road, around the corner. But Here's the way it goes, folks, at most properties. They find out the dates, find out how many people, find out the number of beds. They put it in, click enter, and they read the price. You want to book it? Sometimes they don't even say, do you want to book it? They build their value proposition on a very weak foundation, as you see here. Okay. So if we use the question right here, back at this question, hey, as I'm checking those rates, any questions I can answer about our location or our amenities? Now we can talk about where we're located, right? First of all, our destination. They might not have decided they're coming to our town or city. So let's first say, oh, I'll give you an example. I'm going to St. Augustine, Florida. We went there probably 15 years ago when our kids were little. We went with some other families. We thought, what a cool little town. So my wife's birthday is coming up in November. And yes, I did remember this one in advance. And I did buy her tickets to one of her favorite bands, Alabama. Okay. And yeah, I splurged for the tickets, but then I realized, oh, I better book a room. So it was $159 for fifth row seats. Well, I thought that was, that was a pretty good rate for fifth row. But then I went to book the room. The average room is 500 bucks at a traditional hotel. So I started checking out the smaller properties, and we got a fantastic one. But I'm first considered, where are you in St. Augustine? Oh, we're actually walking distance. Do you have parking? Yes, we do. In fact, you can park your car and walk to everything, or we're 1 block from the tramway. Ooh, that sounds good. All right. Um, and then you engage them in a conversation. Then when they say, oh, and by the way, Mr. Kennedy, we do have a fabulous room for 200, but since it's your wife's birthday, for 275, we can put you in the better one. All right, so guess which room I booked. Now, fourth point, storytelling selling. All right, so we're gonna ask questions to figure out, who are you? Why are you calling me? Then I want you to think about having an approach that tells the story, but not the story of you, the story of them. The story of them enjoying the vacation or getaway plans you've learned about at your property. All right. So, few concepts here I'm going to share with you. First one's a little bit hard. Okay. Got to put some work into this, but make sure we're using some language that is descriptive, that is visually and emotionally appealing. Now, some people don't say anything except the name of the room category and the price. It's a standard for 200 and a deluxe for 225 and a superior for 250, right? Well, tell me about the room. It's 250 square feet. There's an iron ironing board, hair dryer, and a coffee maker. Okay. Oh, whoopee. Some people are a little bit better, but they grab onto a couple of words. They say, okay, Doug, I can do this. I'll just say beautiful, nice, great, beautiful, nice, great, beautiful, nice, great. Awesome. All right. Well, that's a good start. What I want you to do is think about what you can say to help them visualize what you're describing. Think about words you could use to help appeal to their emotion. How are they going to feel while they're there? That's how we sell experiences, folks. We tell a story, okay? And a great way you can find words like this is on your own website. A lot of you either spent a long time helping to write the copy on your website, or you paid a professional. And professional copywriters are worth the money because they are very good at telling the story. In fact, that's a big term in digital marketing. Your website needs to tell your story. Okay, so here's some examples. You can do a screen capture of this if you like. Unforgettable. So let's talk about emotional work. Oh, it'll be unforgettable. You'll have a memorable time for your intimate getaway. And it's very enchanting and cozy here. Your room will have a cozy fireplace. It'll be enchanting in the winter. It's a secluded room. Oh, and here at the end, there's selfie-ready scenery everywhere. It's very quaint, if it is quaint, or exclusive. Throw some of those buzzwords in. Is it historic? Is it unique? Is it modern, right? Is it hip? But find the words that tell the story of your inn, your hotel, the rooms, and then next, we're going to look at how to include them in these descriptions. All right. So that is called part of storytelling selling here. We're still on number 4. We want to use visual emotional words, but we want to lead with you, not we. So a lot of people, you say, okay, and I have a question. Where are you located? What's the end like? What's this room like? Oh, we offer. We have, we offer. That makes it all about us. We're not spending the money. We're taking the money. Let's make it all about you. You can enjoy. You will receive. You can take advantage of. You and your romantic partner will enjoy. And when you step out in the morning, you will be centrally located. Okay. When you retire for the evening, your room will have a 4-poster bed, a deep soaking tub, or you will have you. Now, we, unless you're in France, we. All right. Now, what does this do? This grabs the attention of the multitasking caller. I love this photo. This makes it all about you. This helps them imagine themselves enjoying what it is you're describing. And it makes an authentic connection. All right. So we offer, or you can enjoy, you can take advantage of, you can benefit from. Be a you seller, not a we seller. Next up, needs-based recommendations, suggestions, and endorsements. Now, I have a picture of a waiter here, and I have the waiter because servers do this all the time, at least the smart ones. They make suggestions and recommendations, and they're usually smart enough to make it based on your needs. And then once you order, they give an endorsement. All right. So let me give you a little example here. Hi, server. Yes. What do you recommend? Okay. Sometimes the server will be like, oh, I like the fish dish, right? It's my favorite. Nobody cares what your favorite is. The smart server like this guy says, oh, well, tell me, what do you enjoy eating? Do you like fish? Do you like spicy? Do you want something hearty? Do you want something light? Do, um, are you more of a beef and chicken person or shellfish? Do you eat shellfish, right? Based on what you've told me, I would recommend this dish for you. And that makes your recommendation and suggestion more powerful. Okay. And then finally, once they order, the smart server, they always do this. Think of Doug Kennedy when you're out at your fine dining restaurant next time. Whenever you order, smart server, he always says, oh, excellent choice. And for you, miss, oh, that's my personal favorite. And for you, oh, we're selling a lot of those tonight. That's one of our most popular items. So let me share some examples. Since you mentioned it was your anniversary, it was your wife's birthday, it was your daughter's, your baby's first time traveling with the baby, I would definitely recommend this option because, and if you're looking for whatever it is you're looking for, I can definitely suggest. Okay. And then finally, once they say, you know what, I'm going to take that last one you mentioned. Based on what you've said, Douglas, I think that would be an excellent choice. That, folks, is how we sell needs-based recommendations. So put all that together, all right? And so what's the end like? Well, since you're here for your anniversary, you will enjoy our quaint historic lobby area. But when you step out back into the main area, into the main inn, and then you enter our modern cabins, you will find all the luxury. In fact, you can enjoy deep soaking tub. You also will have a microwave if you want to heat up some tea. I think it would be an excellent choice for a memorable weekend. That's how we win bookings. All right, number 5. This is an easy one, should be an easy one. I should not be paid to do this training. We should all know when somebody calls to buy a reservation, we should ask to secure the sale, okay? Does your staff always ask to, if someone wants to book the reservation, do they always ask, do you want to confirm that? Okay, well, you would always like to think that, wouldn't you? But the reality is here, And I did not have, of course, we had a lot of people signing up here in the last few days, but when I presented for the Allied Lodging Professionals Conference, I'm going to share the results there. In that case, when there was travel involved, people booked way in advance and confirmed their conference attendance. We got some of the names from those who registered. We got property names, and we actually had our team place 30 mystery shop calls to people who represented inns. We called the inns in attendance, and we found only 34% of the time did they ask or offer to make that reservation. Okay. And when it comes to the rest of the criteria, all the things we talked about, the total score was only 26%. So what I mean is it doesn't do any good to say, oh, you want to book it? If you have not told a story, if you haven't asked questions, made a connection, told a story, that's when asking for the sale will be more successful. All right. But for the purpose of this survey, if someone, all they did was say, what are your dates? How many people? How many nights? It's 125 a night. You want to book it? Okay, they got credit. So my point is 34% of the time they asked for the sale, but really fulfilling the criteria, there was a lot to be desired. All right, so you can see here, this is 30 attendance of the ALP conference. 53% used opening prior for dialogue. Only 7% asked and used the name. Have you stayed with us before? Just the basic question. Have you stayed with us before? 7%. What brings you to town? 4%. That's like one person. Determine if the caller has questions. So you see almost no questions were asked. Now, the properties did a little bit better on the use selling, as you see here, the visual emotional language, the recommendations. Now, upselling was one of the best scoring categories. All you had to do there was mention 2 or more room categories. And so people did that, but it would be more effective if you ask questions and tell the story. But as I mentioned, only 34%, about a third of the time, did they ask for to make the reservation. Now, when they did, our mystery shoppers said, well, you know, it sounds really good, but I have to chat with someone else. I've got to check with my wife. Wife's got to check with the husband. They use some mild excuse. And in that case, only about 1 in 4, 27% of the time, did they come back and say, well, tell you what we can do. We can book this for you now. This way it's locked in and you can always call back to cancel as long as you do so, whatever your policy is, 3 days, 1 week in advance. And then ending the call correctly, thanking the caller, offering additional assistance, using the in name, 3%. So again, about one person did that. So finishing up here, yeah, we gave them credit if they said, do you want to book it? But when you train your team, and if you are the team, when you say this, be sure to say, may I secure this for you now while it's still showing available? Doesn't that sound better than you'll want to book it? Okay. And when the person says, no, I've got to check with my wife. Okay, speaking as a married guy, that's a smart husband. But if it's the wife saying, oh, I have to check with my husband, which I personally don't believe, whatever they're going to say, launch right into saying, well, that's fine, but just so you'll know, availability is limited. You know, the rate could change. Why don't we lock this in now? And then that way, if plans change, you can always call back to cancel. All right. Now, if the caller still declines, tell you what I would do. If I owned your inn, if I ran your B&B, if I was the manager of your hotel, I would get me a little Excel sheet and I would say, okay, all right, Douglas, since you're not ready to book now, let me grab your email address and I'm going to send you my direct contact information. What's your email? All right. And then later, when things have slowed down, open up Outlook or Gmail, whatever you use, shoot them over a very quick brief note to say, very nice talking with you today, Douglas, about your wife's birthday and the Alabama concert. We would love to help you finalize plans. Please check back with us directly. And if you do that, and if you follow these 5 points we've covered today, you can harness your property's best resource The people, the humans, the personalized service. Put some heart in hospitality, put some heart in sales. Um, Here's my contact information, Kennedy Training Network. If you do visit Kennedy Training Network, you can find, we do a monthly newsletter. This is free of charge. We also have, and if you don't mind me mentioning, Nathan, an online version of Quest, which is only $99. It's at reservationquest.com. We do our mystery shopping. In fact, we can mystery shop your inn for a special rate for anyone who mentions this webcast for $29 per mystery shop. We'll give a special ResNexus discount. So you can feel free to email me directly. I will respond personally. Okay. So thank you for hosting our webcast today and for the opportunity to reach your audience. And I hope to have brought value in our time together.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Doug. That was a really awesome presentation. I really appreciate that. At this time, we are going to open it up for questions. So everyone can feel free to submit those at this time. In the meantime, I just wanted to really quickly kind of go over where you can find our other webinars. So if you like this webinar and wanted to see some of our other ResNexus webinars, you can do so by going to resnexus.com, and under the Education tab, you can click on Webinars, and that will take you to a catalog of all of our past webinars, which you can view. You can also register for any upcoming webinars as well.
Okay, so what questions can we answer? Anyone, it's an open forum. If anyone has questions, I'm sure I did not explain it that well, that there's no questions.
I do have a couple of questions here. The first one was someone was asking about what they do when they have lots of seasonal staff.
Okay.
So what would be the number one thing that they should focus on with these employees who are only going to be around for kind of a short time out of the year? Do you have any advice for them?
You know, focus on the basics. You may not, and actually, you'd be surprised. A lot of people can get these concepts pretty quickly, but let's focus on, how do we answer our phone? That is your storefront window to the outside world. The first thing they're going to see is your website. And then the next thing is, they won't actually see it, but metaphorically, they're going to imagine the person who answers what they actually look like. And that is a starting place. And then, just I think if you introduce the concept of asking questions, people will figure out how to tell the story. If they get the staff will figure out how to answer in a way that at least you can answer, even if you only just started, get them asking the right questions. Hey, do you have any questions for me? And then at least they'll be able to sell the experience somewhat. But also, start with your year-round staff, and then they're going to be the ones probably training your seasonal staff. So make sure they're leading by example.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I really like that the emphasis is on the storytelling. That's really good.
Yeah.
Another question we had, and you kind of already touched on this one a little bit, but it was how do you direct people who found your property on an OTA, and how do you kind of direct them to book via your website as opposed to through the marketing
Yeah.
channel?
That's a really good question. Let me expand on that. Today's reservation inquiry often starts with, hi, I just have a quick question about, they don't say, hi, I'm on Expedia about to click the last screen, but that's not how it goes down. They say, I just have a quick question about, I see it's non-smoking. Are we allowed to vape outside? Okay. Or, we're going to arrive on a Harley. Today's Harley driver is doing well financially if you see the price tag on a Harley. It's not your biker of the 60s, easy rider. People want to know, we're getting 2 rooms, but they're actually going to have 3 vehicles because my daughter and her son, I'm sorry, my daughter and her husband are going to be meeting us. Can we park 3 cars? And a lot of people just say, yeah, you can, but say, yes, we can. And by the way, why have you on the line? Are there any questions? Oh, well, that's okay. We're going to book it online. Well, what website are you on? Because I can put you directly into the reservation system. So if you ask questions and you start talking to people, automatically you're going to get them to book, and just fall back on the whole idea of being able to put them directly into the system, end it now, okay, and probably also at the same rate.
Great. Um, all right, so I actually had a question of my own. Earlier, we were talking about the 4 reasons that people tend to call.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if you have any insights for, like, for one of them as an example, someone who's overwhelmed by all the choices they find online. What can you do to kind of help walk them through that and help cater to that person specifically when they do call?
Great question. Sometimes they'll self-reveal it by saying, "Oh, hi, are you at the hotel? Oh, good, because I'm looking at your website. It's confusing." Um, and right away you can say, "Oh, let me help you," right? On the other hand, they may just call and say, "Hi, I'm asking about this first room category," and you describe it. Okay, now what about this other room category? And you describe it. And what about this third one? And you describe it. Okay, so that's how we figure out there's a problem. Either they self-reveal it or they inadvertently reveal it. But the solution is always the same. Hey, let me ask you a few more questions and I can help you find the best option. And a lot of people are going to literally sigh, ah, thank you. I've been online way too long today. That's how we do it. People will appreciate this. Not only are you turning a ring ring into cha-ching, but you're making someone feel welcome.
For sure. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm not seeing any more questions at this time. It will keep it open for another 30, 45 seconds or so. See if anyone else has anything like to ask. You can please do so at this time. But in the meantime, do you have any closing thoughts for us, Doug?
One more, I'm typing in now. The website. Please join us for our free newsletter. In fact, that we promote the webcast here, such as the one we're on, but at the bottom is a free newsletter. Once a month, you get links to all of our webcasts we do like this. We do about 3 training articles that I personally write every month. Also, reservation, if you don't mind, let me put in one more here. Reservationsquest.com, which is the class that's a self-study online course. Takes about 6 modules, 20 minutes each with a quiz. So, you know, you're looking at not a lot of time. And we hope that you would get some value out of that. But thank you again for joining us. Everything I hear about Res Nexus is positive, and I hope your clients and as well as any invited guests have enjoyed our time today.
All right, great. Hey, thanks so much, Doug. Really appreciate you.
All right, good day to all.
All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much.